Bo Pelini is headed back to Baton Rouge, and we got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on step milk. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, we need to talk about Bo Pelini is returning to Baton Rouge to be the defensive coordinator for Ed Orgeron's LSU Tigers. Now, I don't think we have a good conversation, really, about how good Bo Pelini has been as a head coach, let alone as a defensive coordinator, because we know after a year at Oklahoma, he went to LSU, stayed there for 2005, 2007, put together one of the most outstanding defenses of that decade, culminating in a national championship win against Ohio State in 2007. Now, after he left LSU, I want to point out, at Nebraska, all he did was win and averaged about 9 wins per season, going 66-27, got fired for his trouble in 2014, goes to Youngstown State, and then ends up going 33-28, but also flips that program around, getting them to the FCS National Championship game in 2016. Now, they weren't very good last year, but man, Bo Pelini knows how to coach football, and with that hat kind of tilted to the side and a snarl of a look on his face, his 3-4, even his 4.25 were really outstanding, and I think we all look back to what he was able to do with Ndamukong Suh returning for his senior season at Nebraska to know just what that's like. I mean, we're talking about a defensive tackle who led the team in tackles, like 73 tackles in that season. And I know that Ndamukong Suh is a singular figure in college football, but you got a really good comp in Tyler Shelvin returning to LSU when he could have gone into the NFL draft. And that's my favorite part of what Bo Pelini is going to have to work with, to say nothing of what Ed Orgeron is going to help him recruit, keeping Corey Raymond on staff. And yes, you're going to be breaking in a new quarterback, but you're still going to be pretty doggone good with Jamar Chase returning. What I love most about the defense is what he has at safety. Like, I get people are excited about Phillip Webb, and they should be, right? Pat Queen is gone. Jacob Phillips is gone. But you should be overjoyed, not just about Jacoby Stevens, not just about my man Kerry Vincent, who's extremely fast, but Marcel Brooks, who could play outside linebacker and safety. And when he talked with Brody Miller at The Athletic last, he said he planned on playing the box safety role, rushing on third down, kind of like Jacoby Stevens did last year. I really like what he has to work with. I think that LSU could put together a better defense this year than they had last year, and the offense will be catching up to the defense. But whether or not they can really defend this national championship is subject to question after everything they lost, right? Because obviously Bo Pelini is replacing Dave Aranda, who took the head coaching job at Baylor and has put together quite a pretty awesome staff, right? I mean, we're talking about getting Larry Fedora as your offense coordinator, wooing Jorge Munoz away from LSU, who was an analyst and was going to be the heir apparent to the passing game coordinator role that Joe Brady had, luring away Dennis Johnson, who was an in-demand defensive line coach after having to serve an analyst role because he had double knee surgery. I don't know how you tear both ACLs, but I would really love to hear that story. Keeping, yes, Joey McGuire on staff. Dave Aranda's Baylor staff looks really good. I mean, just extremely sharp. I just wonder if they can recruit. And that $2.5 million contract also went with him. Bo Pelini's going to make about $2 million, according to Ross Dellinger at Sports Illustrated. And you look at what they're able to recruit to, who they're able to keep in state, and who they're able to go and get. I mean, Dwight McGlothern was so excited at the All-America Bowl to tell everybody that he had committed to go play at LSU. Now, at cornerback, you return the most dynamic freshman in the country for me in Derek Stingley Jr. He is truly going to be your 1A cornerback. Ed Orgeron said last year that he is going to play both ways, and the only reason he didn't play both ways last year is because Ed made a promise to Derek Stingley Sr. that he wouldn't do that to his kid as a true freshman. But this is also a kid that Dave Aranda said, I would have played him in the Fiesta Bowl last year if I would have been allowed to. He was that far ahead, because we're talking about a kid that arrived on campus just in the middle of December that Dave Aranda was ready to throw onto a football field to play significant snaps against a dynamic Central Florida offense just a couple of weeks later. Remarkable stuff. You're also going to get my man Elias Ricks, who is probably the most polished of the cornerbacks in the 2020 class. I know that Keely Ringo is considered the best cornerback in that class, but that's also because Keely Ringo matches up well against guys like Eric Gilbert and Darnell Washington. He's an eraser, right? Keely can match up against a 6'5" tight end. He can match up against your speedy wideout. He's just got that kind of speed and size. Elias has tremendous ability and excellent technique. He played safety at Mater Dei and committed to LSU on Christmas 2018, and I was really excited to hear about that. Or excuse me, 2019. Nope, 2018. I had it right the first time. Sorry, Elias. But he was also really in demand. Ohio State looked like they were coming on strong. The recruiting class that they're bringing at defensive line is also really outstanding, really, really good. I understand that many folks outside of LSU are going to have reservations, myself included, about just how potent they're going to be, both offensively and defensively. I mean, you're losing the top tackler in the SEC. You're losing the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award winner, Grant Delpit, who, whether you like it or not, was one of the best safeties in the country over the last 2 years and one of the best DBs in the country over the last 2 years, could play 3 different positions. You're losing Christian Fulton, who some folks would have told you was the best DB on the team given the game or the situation. And you are probably going to install something like a new defense because Aranda's scheme looked more like a 3-3-5 with 3 safeties on the field. One of those box safeties could play outside linebacker, pass rush, and drop into coverage. We'll see if Bo Pelini wants to keep that. But if he installs the kind of scheme that I think he's going to install, he's going to put it on that defensive end on either side and that nose tackle to try to create pressure and penetration. And you're going to get guys in a 1'9" that are going to be able to set a hard edge. I'm really excited to see what Bo Pelini is able to do. I know that Ed Orgeron is really excited to have Bo Pelini back down there. Now, is Steve Ensminger going to be able to pick up the slack for Joe Brady, or are they going to put somebody next to him that might be able to do a little bit more scheming? Because understanding the players and understanding what they can run is way different than having the best game plan. We're going to find out just how good Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady are apart from each other, because I called it the Borg in the box, just the one brain working together up there. That was outstanding. You're also going to learn what life is like without Joe Brady, who entered the Cam Newton zone as one of the best of all time, if not up there with the best of all time for the way that he played 2019. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is gone, which means that you're going to grow up your younger kiddos in a very short amount of time. But I like Ty Davis-Price. I like John Emery. And, of course, I mentioned the wideouts that you're going to get. And you're going to have to grow up another tight end. Remember that Thad Moss didn't drop a single pass last year. He was that good. But Eric Gilbert is the best tight end that anybody has rated in the last 3 years. He's just that good. So they're going to be fun to just keep an eye on. And if they are able to put it together and be undefeated through the month of October, yes, we're going to have to really start talking about them repeating as national champs. But that's a big if. They get Texas at home in September. That's going to be a lot of fun, as Sam Ehlinger is going to try to overcome, well, what I've been saying, what many people have been saying about his ability as a passer. He's going to get a capable offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach in Mike Yurcich to help him with a new scheme. He's going to return 2 running backs that he trusts in Keontae Ingram and Roshan Johnson. He's going to be joined by 5-star Bijan Robinson. He's going to get Jake Smith in the slot, Brendan Eagles on one side, Malcolm Epps on the other. You get Chris Ash as the defensive coordinator for that game. I understand that they turned over most of the defensive staff, not all of the defensive staff, but a healthy Caden Stearns is really going to help them out. They had a lot of playing time for kids that are younger because they were so young, and not so young, but so injury riddled, not unlike Alabama last year, that they didn't play their best football until after. Yes, they played their best football against LSU last year and then not again until Utah. So we're all going to be looking forward to that to see just who can come out on top. But right now, you're going to probably hedge toward LSU. But as things move and shake during the winter and the spring and the summer, we might have a different opinion about what the outcome of that game could be. But it's also a marquee game on the schedule, and we're all going to be looking forward to it. All right, that's it for me. Doses.